For any researcher out there, those three little letters, IRB, can bring on a cold sweat. It's supposed to be the gatekeeper of ethical research, right? But man, it can also feel like this bureaucratic beast that's guarding the very gates of discovery. So today, let's talk about how new tools are finally taming that beast and turning these mountains of paperwork into a clear path toward progress.
Oh, this feeling. This right here? It is absolutely universal. It doesn't matter if you're a student looking at 1,000 pages of reading or a scientist trying to draft a massive submission for the Institutional Review Board. That feeling of being just buried alive in paper, it's a pain we all know. It's the kind of friction that just grinds the wheels of science to a halt.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to venture into what I like to call the IRB labyrinth, just to understand all its traps. Then, we'll see how digital tools are basically giving us a map out of there. We'll take a hands-on tour of a modern workflow, meet the new AI assistant on the block, and then wrap it all up by seeing how this isn't just about saving time, it's about speeding up the very engine of discovery.
Okay, let's start by walking right into the maze itself. The IRB approval process is, of course, a non-negotiable step for anyone doing research with human subjects. It's all about protection, but as you can see, navigating it can really feel like you're lost in a labyrinth, not sure which turn leads you forward and which one is just a dead end.
So, just to make sure we're all on the same page, the IRB, the Institutional Review Board, is that gatekeeper. Their whole job is to make sure research is ethical and that participants are kept safe. It is an absolutely critical milestone. Seriously, without their stamp of approval, your research just doesn't happen.
So why do so many submissions get stuck in this maze? Well, it often boils down to a few really common and frankly totally avoidable pitfalls. You can think of them as the classic traps. First, you submit a half-baked idea instead of a solid plan. Second, you fail to show you've actually got the resources to pull the whole thing off. And the big one, submitting draft documents. Any one of these is going to send your proposal right back to square one.
But what if you could sidestep the maze entirely? Huh? That is the promise of digital transformation. We're talking about moving away from the absolute chaos of scattered files and confusing email threads and bringing everything into a single, central hub where the path forward is actually clear.
I love this comparison because it's just so real. On the left, you've got the old way, pure chaos. That frantic search through your inbox for the right version of that one document, the awkward pings to your PI asking, "Hey, did you see my email?" Yeah, that's the old way. But on the right is the new way, serene, orderly, centralized. The workflow is automated, and everyone knows exactly what's going on. It's the difference between a tangled mess of yarn and a clean, printed circuit board.
And look, this isn't just some concept. There are dedicated software solutions built specifically for this headache. A fantastic example is Caillou's IRB, which is a platform designed from the ground up to manage the entire submission, review, and approval process.
So, let's pop the hood and take a little tour. I mean, it's one thing to talk about a better process, but what does that actually look like day to day? How does a digital system turn that scribble of chaos into a straight line of progress?
It all starts right here, with the dashboard. Think of it as your mission control. Instead of your info being scattered across a dozen inboxes and folders, everything you need is right here. You can see which studies are in draft, which ones are waiting for approval, and exactly what tasks are on your plate. No more guessing. And this is where the magic really happens, the automated task list. This is like a digital relay race. As soon as you finish your part, the baton is automatically passed to the next person, whether that's your principal investigator, the IRB analyst, whoever. The system itself becomes the project manager, making sure nothing ever falls through the cracks. This might be my favorite part. We've all been there, right? You get an email with feedback, you make the changes, you send it back, only to get another email with conflicting feedback. Ugh. Here, comments from reviewers happen directly on the submission form, right next to the section they're talking about. You can reply, resolve it, and mark it as addressed. It makes the whole revision process so much more transparent and way less frustrating.
Okay, so we've seen how these platforms are cleaning up today's mess. But what about tomorrow? Well, the next frontier is already here, and it's being powered by AI. Let's take a look at how artificial intelligence is getting ready to become the ultimate research co-pilot.
And this is the big question on everyone's mind, isn't it? Could a researcher just, prompt an AI with their study idea and have it spit out a perfect, submission-ready application?
The answer, for now, is a pretty firm not quite. And honestly, that's a good thing. We absolutely need human oversight on ethics. But what AI can do is act as an incredible assistant. It can digest a mountain of literature for you, draft those initial sections from your notes, and obsessively check for consistency across all your documents. It's basically the ultimate intern for all the grunt work.
To really get what AI can do here, check out this example, an AI meal planner. It has to juggle dozens of complex rules, allergies, health goals, budget, foods you hate, to create a perfect plan. An IRB application is exactly the same kind of puzzle, just with different rules. It's all about taking a complex idea and making sure it follows a very strict, structured set of ethical and procedural rules.
So here's the crucial point. The goal of AI isn't to replace the scientist, not at all. It's to act as the world's best research assistant. It handles the tedious formatting, the summarizing, the consistency checks, and that frees up our brainpower to focus on what humans do best, designing innovative and ethical research.
So let's bring it all home. We've looked at streamlined dashboards and smart AI assistants, and that's all cool. But this isn't just about making paperwork easier. Why does optimizing this one administrative step matter so much for the future of science itself?
It's simple, really, because time is the single most precious resource in research. Every week you spend stuck in an email loop about a consent form is a week you're not spending in the lab or in the field. A smoother process just means fewer rejections, faster approvals, and getting to the finish line, the actual research, sooner.
And this really says it all. The whole point is to get researchers off the mountain of red tape and onto the open road of discovery. By automating the bureaucracy, we can turn compliance from this painful hurdle into a seamless part of the process. And that frees up brilliant minds to focus on what actually matters, pushing the boundaries of what we know.
The tools we've been talking about today aren't some far-off sci-fi dream. They are here now, and they're evolving incredibly fast. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. The question is no longer if technology is going to transform the landscape of research, it's just a matter of when that transformation will finally be complete.